Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris, and on today's video we're talking about a fragrance from the house of DRIES VAN NOTEN. So on today's video I have a fragrance by the name of Voodoo Chile or Voodoo Chile or whatever you want to call it, and this is from the house of DRIES VAN NOTEN. If you're not familiar with DRIES VAN NOTEN, it is a fashion designer that is stationed or is from Belgium essentially, and so is his brand, obviously. The brand was established in 1986 and is very much known for pops of color, very beautiful craftsmanship when it comes to their designs, very minimal, timeless, but at the same time adding a little bit of pop of color. It's what Prada thinks that they are. Well, it's what Prada used to be back in the 90s, and they think they are still, but they're not quite there, if that makes any sense. If you get the fashion reference, and you get it. If you don't, you don't. Anywho, this fragrance is called Voodoo Chile, and it is a cannabis fragrance. Yes, you heard that right, and it smells like it too. I'm not a person that partakes in, either smoking or doing edibles or anything like that. It just doesn't work for me. But this fragrance does smell like the plant. If you were to find the plant in the wilderness, in the middle of a mountain somewhere, it really does give you that vibe. Very kind of aromatic, clean at the same time, a little green as well. Well, obviously it's green, but you know what I mean if you know. Now, the only confusing thing about this fragrance is this one is, like I said, called Voodoo Chile or Voodoo Chili, and he also does have another fragrance that has cannabis in his actual fragrance range, and that is called Patchouli Cannabis, and this one itself also has patchouli and also has cannabis, but it's named something different and has a different bottle. So top notes for this are going to be cannabis as well as rosemary. You do get those notes very prevalent in this fragrance. And even though they're top notes, they do dry down all the way to the base as well. You also get heart notes of Indonesian patchouli and mastic in this fragrance. Then in the base, we're going to get sandalwood and Virginian cedar. So every single note that is listed in this fragrance, you can tell is in here. They're all prevalent notes in this fragrance. And I have to say, the cannabis in here is done tastefully. When I first smelled it, I thought this smells like a hallway of a sketchy apartment complex, if that makes any sense. And in my mind, I thought you could get high from the smell. Obviously you can't, as Chris has pointed out, that I'm not able to get high from the smell, otherwise I wouldn't be able to sell it. But anywho, I just thought that in my mind for some reason. But the fragrance starts to get a little bit nicer as the time progresses. You start to get more of the cedar in here. You start to get more of the sandalwood. You get more of that patchouli in here as well, mixing with that mastic. And then the cannabis kind of just stays there forever, but it starts to mix very much with the rosemary. It doesn't sound like a good fragrance the way I'm describing it, but it actually is. It works. It smells really, really nice. It's probably not going to be one if you don't like cannabis, the smell of the plant itself. If that's not something you're into, this is probably not one to go for because it is a prevalent note in here. It is going, like I said, to dry from beginning to end on the fragrance. Although it'll change significantly, it's still going to be present within the actual fragrance smell. This fragrance was launched in 2022, so it's not that old, and the bottle itself is very, very cute. It's going to have like a blue design up top with a metallic bottom, and it has like some leaf motifs stamped into the metal bottom. It's just really, it's very DRIES VAN NOTEN, if that makes any sense. So very colorful bottles. Every bottle is symbolic to the actual smell of the fragrance. I think that this one should have been green, but they couldn't do that because cannabis patchouli is already green. So I think that it wouldn't have made sense to make two different green bottles for two different cannabis fragrances. But nonetheless, this fragrance is, like I said, very well done. Again, if it's not something you're into, the smell of cannabis, this is probably not going to be the one for you. If you're scared of getting mistaken for a pothead, maybe this is not the one for you as well. Although it's a lot more tasteful than that. It's kind of like the person that sells a pot that carries a bag in their pocket full of the new pot. This fragrance does retail for $315 US. It is an eau de parfum, and they do sell refills for this one. Now, the cool thing about the refills with DRIES VAN NOTENs is that it's a little bit more expensive. Obviously, it's going to be, I think, $380, somewhere around that price range. But you get 200 mils versus 100 mils, so you get essentially two bottles for the price of one, or a little bit more than the price of one, of course. And that's a really good deal because obviously if you don't want the bottle, then you can obviously, fill atomizers or pocket sprays or purse sprays with this fragrance and take it with you on the go. You just won't get that very pretty cute little bottle. That's just food for thought there. Chris did mention that he doesn't think that this fragrance has a very strong cannabis smell. I do pick it up because it's right at the top and it, like I said, dries down to the bottom for my experience at least. But again, it does mix with that rosemary. I think both of them play off of each other and create this very green aromatic top for the fragrance itself. And then you start to get those other notes, which are going to come out and play, of course. It's a very mountain inspired fragrance. It's very much in nature and wilderness, if you ask me. But it's clean, it's refined, it's wearable. Just know, like I said, if you don't like the cannabis smell, you're not going to like this fragrance. So what do you think about this fragrance? Let me know down in the comments down below. Also make sure to give the video a thumbs up and comment down below, what DRIES Van Noten fragrance do you like? Which one do you own? Which one would you like me to actually do a full review on? Like, to buy the bottle, unbox it, show the experience of the actual fragrance itself. Let me know all of that down below. And don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, you guys, take care. Bye.